Now, in just over a year's time, the people of Scotland will vote in a referendum which could change the United Kingdom for good. They will get the chance to vote yes or no to the question, should Scotland be an independent country?
Well, this week we're going to be examining the issues, and this morning 5 Live's Victoria Derbyshire is in Glasgow with an invited audience to debate Scotland's future. They're at the Old Fruit Market. Let's join them all there now.
Independent Scotland would prove beneficial to these children. I will grab my jacket and I will sit there. But until then, I'm staying right here.
OK, so who can help this lady here? Can you get a microphone? Can we get a microphone to this? Any second now.
Hi there. I totally agree with you. I mean, listen, we've spoken about so many things today and it's really wasted a lot of time. Scotland is stinking rich, OK? The money that we won't spend on nuclear weapons, that we won't spend on criminalising poor people, that we won't spend on invading foreign countries, will be spent to create a better society. I've got 4 children. This is crucial, absolutely crucial for me. It's crucial for so many who's trying to create a better society. OK? It's actually, I've walked from the East End of Glasgow today. The child poverty rates in East End of Glasgow is higher than the open-air prison camp that is the Gaza Strip. It's not 1 in 5 in East End of Glasgow, it's 1 in 3, 1 in 2 almost. You know, we need to do something different, OK? We can't, it's the definition of madness, the gentleman says, we can't keep going on like this. And such a stark divide, because that's wealth and privilege. I've never seen such a stark divide. And you've got a lot of ordinary Scots over here who are going out their way. I canvassed the poorest part, the poorest constituency in the UK in Barrowfield, the poorest constituency in the UK is Shelton, and we didn't have one no voter. Not one no voter, because we know we need to do something different and we need to vote for independence.
Would you all say that what needs to change is we need to become independent? Would you all agree that independence would help these children?
Yes.
Would you all agree that?
We're currently criminalising people for the crime of being poor, for the crime of being unemployed. We can't go on like that.
Will you have me on your section?
Yes.
So, she's moved.
Absolutely. We owe this to our children, to give our children a future. You asked for a Rammy today, Victoria, and I think it's been puerile, absolutely puerile. We've spent so much time going on about money. Scotland is stinking rich. It's what we do with that money that counts.
Victoria,
it's what we do with it.
Victoria, this is an important point in that.
OK.
Victoria,
so, earlier on, hang on a sec. Earlier on, we had a gentleman.
Victoria, just on that point.
Bear with me one sec. Welcome back to Views on the BBC News Channel. And we have the Undecideds, we have the Yes Camp, we have the Better Together campaign over here. We've had a bit of movement from the audience. We've invited them to move if their views change throughout the morning. And we've had movement to the No Camp. We've had movement, as you've just heard, from the Yes Camp. Over here, hello.
Hi, my name is Emily. I recently moved to Scotland from Australia. And for a while, I just felt I didn't really know enough about either country to make a decision. And I think, from what I've heard today, independence is definitely the right way to go.
I'm Harriet, I'm the Welsh woman again. I think what was just said was disgraceful. There are children in poverty in the south of England. There are children in poverty in the Welsh valleys. Cut yourself off from them and don't campaign for them. And the woman that's a trade unionist, the trade union movement, fantastic movement for workers. What about the workers in the south of England who can't stand the Westminster government? Yeah, exactly. I have problems with the Westminster government, and so do many people in the south of England. People living in London have problems with the Westminster government.
OK, hang on. There is no point talking over each other. Hang on. Lady over here, hello. It's you.
I'm Margaret Wilson, and I just feel it's been one-sided.
Go ahead.
That's all I'm going to say.
Victoria, an important point about child poverty.
Yes.
An important point about child poverty is, look, don't take my word for it, don't take the SNP's word for it, don't take any politician's word for it. Why don't we look at the independent, non-political Joseph Rowntree Foundation, which has already said that all the powers to actually address child poverty already exist in the Scottish Parliament, around housing, around education, around health. Read the report, Fiona, I'm happy to send you. The Joseph Rowntree say, but sadly they say, and this is crucial, that we have a Scottish government that's obsessed with the referendum and not actually changing Scotland. So I passionately believe that we should reduce child poverty. I came into politics to fight poverty, not to fight about which politician had what power and what building. I want to reduce poverty. Crucially, I want to reduce poverty, not just in my own constituency in Glasgow, but across the rest of the United Kingdom and the rest of the world. And I passionately, genuinely believe we do that best by being part of the United Kingdom.
Hang on.
We don't trust you to do it. That's the problem.
We've got some more movement of people.
We have
Clearly,
in the last Labour government.
we've got some more movement of people. Clearly, it's unscientific. That goes without saying. Hello. Hi.
Yeah, Victoria, I wanted to answer our Welsh comrades. They make a very good point. But my socialism doesn't end in the East End of Glasgow, where I come from.
No, not
My
at all.
socialism doesn't end in Newcastle or Liverpool. You guys have deliberately mentioned Newcastle and Liverpool. OK, but my socialism doesn't end in Dover. My socialism, we're trying to create a progressive beacon in Scotland. I'm in touch with a lot of people in the West, in England, who see us as something that's going to help them change England, right?
Absolutely.
Can you
We can do
sir,
something.
Sir, why would independence mean? Why would independence?
Victoria, because
why
we
would
are on the
independence
cusp.
mean that you were
We're on the
progressive?
cusp of doing something fantastic.
We've got a
I'm no,
chance.
some of these guys are about changing flags. I'm about doing something. I'm about changing.
Yes.
There's a very famous Scottish Irishman called James Connolly says it's no point just changing the flags. We need to change a bit of the system as well. Okay, and that's what we're going to do next year, right? And what we can do is we can create a system and a beacon of progress that people down south can say, look what they're doing there, look how they're treating their people fairer, look how progressive that society is, and that will act as a springboard for them to argue and create a better society in England and hopefully elsewhere as well.
Let's give someone else a chance. Hang on.
My name's Katie, I'm 16 and I'm a school pupil. I'd just like to make a reference. Labour reduced child poverty by a third in 10 years between 1995 and 2005, and you didn't even mention it. You had time to speak and time to convince all of these people that you've done something to reduce child poverty, but you didn't, and that's the type of passion that we're going to see that's going to convince people to move over to the SNP. That's one of the reasons.
Can I ask?
One of the main reasons that I'm undecided, if you stood here and give me a solid argument, showing some passion, it goes back to identity. People believe themselves to be Scottish and they think that the SNP and the Yes campaign are showing some national pride. So far, we've had nothing from the union to show that we feel Scottish, that you want us to stay. And it's that lack of passion that's going to convince people to move over to
So
the Yes campaign.
if our Better Together campaign is here today was slightly more passionate, you'd be in the No camp? You'd be in the Better Together camp? That's all it would take for you?
Labour's done so much good work for the country over the past decade, and I'm sure many people in the Yes.
Okay. All right.
They've reduced child poverty.
And can I ask you, do you feel like moving right now or not?
No,
No.
because
Okay.
I don't believe that I should go to Yes.
Can I just address that,
and I
Victoria?
don't feel passion
Can I just address that? Fair enough, I'm maybe not shouted and hissed, maybe like the other side, but I did say that Scotland, the last Labour government, have child poverty across the UK and have pensioner poverty right across the UK.
Well, that's
and
not
I've
very well, but I
passionately-
watched your TV debate last week and it was the exact same problems. You and Nicola Sturgeon spent an hour and a half bickering over silly little issues. And what you should have been doing is targeting people and showing them that it's best to stay in the union and be passionate about it rather than trying to poke holes in the SNP's argument.
Okay, over here. Hello.
Hi. Hello. I'm Peter Hutchinson. I'm from Northern Ireland originally. I live in Scotland, and to complicate matters, I own a business that's registered in England, which puts me in quite a difficult position. So identity-wise, I don't know where I'd fit into new
You're welcome here.
independent Scotland. But the main reason I'm on this side of the room is that having read the impartial or the limited impartial advice I can find, the bottom line to me is that we don't actually know what we're voting for, because negotiations are taking place after the vote. If you go into a shop and buy something, you know the price. If you go into business to do a business deal, you sit down and you negotiate a deal and you know what you're entering into. We have absolutely no idea what we're entering into. From my point of view, the Yes campaign are saying that their campaign, it's unfortunate that a major global sports brand have taken their ideal slogan, just do it. 'Cause we really don't know what we're doing. And on that basis, I'm on this side of the room.
Okay. On that point, on our friend's point about we don't know the detail, will there be answers? How many answers will there be in that white paper in November?
It's whether the answers are sufficient is up to the people to judge, but there'll be a
Oh, sorry, Brian. Was there movement here? We've gone from I'll come back to you, Brian.
yeah.
From the undecideds to the yeses. Hello? Tell us why you've moved.
Yeah.
What's made up your mind?
Well, they just seem to have a better argument that's for us. You know, free education, jobs, economic security, and that's really important for us because we're trying to get a future and we're not seeing one from that side, but we're seeing one here, which is what I really feel quite passionate about.
Is it utopia? You make it sound like utopia.
No.
Okay. Hang on, we've got some people who've moved to the Better Together, who prefer the United Kingdom to stay as the United Kingdom. Hello, sir. Hi.
Yeah, hi, I'm Mark. I'm Irish. I've been living in Edinburgh for almost half my life. I'm very Irish, always have been, always will be. That will never change. The Yes campaign are doing absolutely nothing in this argument except being anti-English. People may disagree with that opinion, but all you're doing is picking on everything that's ever gone wrong.
Give him a chance. Let him speak, please. Go
Someone
ahead.
said it's worth dying for. I live in a country that's divided. Is it really worth dying for?
Oh, no.
Do you want to pass the microphone along? Because I think somebody else next to you has moved from the Undecideds to the Better Together.
Hi, I'm Viola. I'm from Slovakia, and I live in Edinburgh for 1 year, so I really wasn't sure because I didn't feel I have right to have an opinion about independent Scotland. And from the beginning, I started to feel that Scotland should be independent, but Group Yes was pushing too much, and it didn't
switched you off.
me at all. So that's the reason why I'm here, and I think that Scotland should be a part of Britain, like United Kingdom.
Can I just come back to Brian Taylor? The question about the detail in the white paper that will be published in November.
When the people of Scotland vote on September the 18th next year, they will be voting on the white paper. That is the prospectus for independence. Now, that is based upon 1997, when the Labour government advanced a white paper on devolution. People were voting then upon that prospectus. It then had to go through the House of Commons. But there is a difference, of course. In 1997, it was a Labour government advancing a white paper, and then the same Labour government was offering to steer that through the Commons and the Lords. They expected a tough ride, you know, in the event the momentum that was created by the yes vote in the referendum carried that forward and through both the Commons and the Lords. This is slightly different. It's different in that it would be a prospectus advanced by the Scottish Government, which they would then have to negotiate separately and following that with the UK Government. But it could be the case, I think, as the Yes camp would argue, that if there is a sufficient vote for yes, it would similarly have momentum. But our friend here is right. Of course, there would have to be negotiations. Yes. You're not voting for the final product. But just bear in mind, in 97, you weren't voting for the final product either, although I stress there is a very considerable difference between the two.
Fair enough. OK, I'm going to give everybody a last opportunity in the last few minutes of the programme. If you would like to move from your section, if you want to move, if you heard something that's potentially helped you make up your mind, or at least push you in a particular direction of travel, please do so now. Everybody's sorted. Everybody's sorted. OK. Can I ask you?
Yes.
Oh, you've moved. You're not as undecided as you were at 10 o'clock, but you're still a bit undecided. And she's moved in the direction of the yes camp. I don't know if that's...
Not really many seats left.
No, is that significant or not?
Well, I just feel, from my comrade over there, my sister, to be honest, my trade unions and socialist roots will never matter whether it's a yes campaign, yes or not. If it's a yes and we are divided and England needs some help, Scottish Unite Union will be down there like a flash to help them. I don't feel it's a divide like that. It's not a divide. It's more about being brothers and sisters like we are within the union. I need answers. I need strategic answers from my Labour government, my Labour card holders. People, we get you there. You don't give us any answers to anything. It's questions. Sure. There's nothing structured. And that worries me. It worries me a great deal that there is nothing structured from this side, whereas this side are giving me a structure.
But you still have not enough of a structure because you're
the
still...
white paper hasn't been released.
Fair enough. OK, all right.
Sorry.
Professor Curtis, can I ask you about potential turnout and how that might affect the result?
Well, I think one thing we're pretty clear on, you've heard the passion in this hall, and I think it's also very, very clear that the public out there in Scotland are also very engaged. One of the polling companies, Ipsos Mori, regularly in its British polls asked people how likely are you to vote in general election, or indeed in Scotland they ask how likely are you to vote in a Scottish Parliament election, and usually in those polls only around 50% of people say they're certain to vote. When the same question is asked about the referendum next year, we are regularly finding 70%, if not more, people saying they're certain to vote. So I think the first thing to say is that undoubtedly Scotland is engaged, people in Scotland think it's a matter, and they're likely to vote. Given that's the case, therefore, it's going to be unlikely that differential turnout, i.e. more people on one side rather than another turning out to vote, is going to be crucial, because it looks as though most people in Scotland are going to avail themselves of the chance to have a choice as to whether their country becomes independent or not.
OK. Hello.
Hi, I would just like to say
that after years and years and years of the Scottish, very sadly, the sad Scottish mentality, my mammy and daddy voted Labour, my granny and granda voted Labour, I'm still going to vote Labour. People of Scotland, rise up and think for yourselves. And this is a vote for independence, for a future of Scotland, for your children, your grandchildren and their children.
I would say to you...
No, excuse me, sorry, just let this gentleman respond here.
19-year-old student from Glasgow, and I'd just like to put this out that a lot of the, arguments from the Yes campaign are, oh, we're Scottish more than British. Well, here's a bit of news. You're still from the island of Great Britain, even if Scotland votes yes. So this whole thing that, oh, I'm Scottish more than British, you're British regardless. So nobody should base their argument on that.
Okay. Yes. Microphone here. Sorry, Alvin. Just gentleman with a microphone here. Sorry, I beg your pardon.
Hi there. Jim from Glasgow again. I'm proud to be... This girl wanted emotion. I'm really proud to be Scottish and British. Very proud. I see no reason for this. We've had emotional rhetoric over here without any substance whatsoever. No, you can sit there. You said that. You were talking about intellect. I have yet to hear anything intellectual from the Yes campaign. I'm not getting at you individually. I'm getting at you in general. There's no figures. I wrote to Alex Salmond asking him a whole load of questions. Everyone unanswered.
Okay, gentleman over here, hello.
My name's David and I am from Glasgow and I work in the whisky industry. It was strange, it was an hour and a half into the debate before the first person actually mentioned whisky. Before coming
and it had to be me, yeah.
Yes. I've got my hip flask, it's fine. But the one thing, I spoke to a number of people in the whisky industry and they want to know how either campaign will protect the Scotch whisky industry and ensure its continued growth globally.
Okay.
Post-referendum.
You've got 10 seconds for both Better Together and Yes Scotland. 10 seconds.
We've already done that as part of the Scottish Government. I was in China, in Beijing, with the First Minister when we were getting the origination.
5 seconds.
Scottish whisky could have it. So food and drink is one of our key industries, as is tourism, as is renewable energy, as is life science. We can be successful.
Better Together.
This referendum, the election 2015 and the election 2016 will all be about living standards. It's about how we create quality jobs. And that's why we make sure we have a living wage right across the UK. We make sure we end blacklisting right in Scotland and the rest across the UK, and also clamp down zero-hour contracts and make sure an economy that works for everyone, no matter where they live across the UK.
At 10 o'clock, we had 80 people in the yes, we had 80 people in the no, and we had 60 undecideds. At 1 minute to midday, we have yes 84, we have no 83, and undecideds 53. Clearly not scientific. Do give yourself a huge round of applause. Thank you.